Return?
Let's see if it works. I'm making you return.
We're returning.
We're return. We have returned.
We've returned again.
All right. It's because we just got into a conversation that I was like, what the fuck, dude? Let's see. I need... What were we just looking at? Boom.
Emma Sean.
Emma Shern.
Emma Sean.
Emma Jean.
Right.
So I've been looking at this. That's not it.
That's not it.
Discard that shit. This is us.
We're discarding ourselves.
Where did it go?
There.
Firefox, Amazon, boom. All right. So I'm looking for a camera that I can use for film,
Right.
for short films, maybe even feature length. So we're talking about shots that are like what? Maybe 10 minutes, maybe 20 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, sure.
But I also want to upgrade my live stream capability.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's a film camera.
Right. Well,
I would See, you know more about it. So this is what I want to do. I want to have short films, maybe feature-length film shots.
Right.
I want to do webcam shit where it's like live streaming. I also, if need be, want to be able to take, shots of real estate or weddings. Now,
cool. Yeah.
to the person who is unlearned,
Yeah.
or at least ignorant,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I'm not unlearned, but I am ignorant of many things when it comes to the tech.
Sure.
I've been looking at something like this.
Mm-hmm.
Regale us.
Yeah. I would probably not do this for a webcam. Part of the reason for that is I had what was it? The Canon 7D, I believe, and the longer you used it, the hotter the sensor got, and you would start to see like glowing individual pixels. So I'd see like this red or white dot just like light up, and it was terrible. And so I'd be shooting things, and it would just start glowing. So I don't think I'd use it for that. There's also the fact that I believe this one is an EFS, which is a cropped lens.
What does that mean?
It means...
What is an EFS?
So it's Canon's terminology. EF is their lens type, and they have EFS, which I really can't remember if that means short or small, but essentially most EFS cameras are an APS-C sensor. Yeah, they are APS-C sensor. APS-C is smaller than full frame. It's a zoomed-in lens. The lens itself is physically... not lens, I'm sorry, I keep saying lens. It's the sensor. The sensor itself is physically smaller. So it lets in less light, typically. It doesn't do as well in low light situations, which you wouldn't have indoors. But it also essentially zooms in whatever you have attached to it. So if you're trying to set it up 2 feet away from you with a lens and get some moderately wide angle shot, you're not going to be able to, because you're going to be essentially multiplying whatever the lens says on it by 1.6. And so if you're shooting for a 50 millimeter lens, you're multiplying that by 1.6. You're not getting a 50 anymore.
You get like 75.
Pretty high zoom.
So why do they do that?
Price?
Yeah, I know. I understand money's the evil of all things, but seriously, why do they do that?
I mean,
like, why is that cheaper?
Because you have a smaller...
Like, it's like, oh, I got a glass, but this one holds...
Well, I mean...
It has a hole in it.
It's an electrical component thing. I mean, if you cram a bunch of pixels themselves... The bigger it is, the more it costs to make, essentially. You have more material cost. You also have to make sure that everything is functioning as intended. I mean, a lot of it honestly comes down to you can charge more for something that does a better job of picking up light. And I don't work in this industry anymore.
Don't discount yourself. You know a lot more than you think.
as far as the pricing, I can't really speak to why it's priced that way. I don't know if it actually costs more to make a larger sensor. I assume it does, but I also think that, if you can say, hey, this will perform better, give you less like noise at night because the individual image sensor is larger, which lets in more light to each individual pixel, you might pay more for that.
So a larger sensor is better.
If you have the same amount of pixels in a sensor, if you have a larger
So
sensor,
like 1080p.
yeah, we'll say 1080p, which is 1,920 pixels wide by 1,080 pixels tall. If you have a sensor that is 2/3 of an inch tall, and you have a sensor that's 1 inch tall, making these numbers up,
Sure.
the 1 inch sensor is going to have a larger surface area and therefore have more light contact and therefore tend to perform better in low light conditions.
So a larger sensor is going to have more detail.
More detail, but also be able to...
And a greater range.
Yeah. So, and there's an electrical component of... It's almost like the reason why it's so difficult to build computer chips small enough. Because at a certain level, there is almost like a EMF or radium... There's a frequency issue where having too many things jammed together in a small space causes issues with...
They bump into each other.
Basically, they're talking over each other in a way. They're creating interference. The larger you can spread those out on a larger area, make each individual pixel bigger.
So this is...
Yeah, so this is...
This is a $420 camera.
Sure.
Although that is not my address. Actually.
It's true.
It is not.
It is not your address.
Well, it used to be about 20 years ago. Yeah. I did infosec.
Infernal internet.
Infernal internets. Not the
Infernal
darkness.
sex.
Yeah, actually, it's a real bother because like all of my email addresses are wrong.
Nice.
I don't look at like 8 or 9 of them. And all of them have different addresses.
Nice.
So I have to, every time I actually get something, I have to like go back and change everything, which is a fucking annoying.
That'd be annoying. I don't do that.
Yeah, it is. It's just because I don't want, Okay, so this is the Canon EFS 18. So the 18 to 55 millimeter. That's actually in the camera.
No, that's the lens.
Oh, that's a lens.
Yeah, so that's the lens. What that's showing you is showing you the focal length, or essentially the zoom of the camera. So that can focus on something that you can set the size, the focal length to 18 millimeters, or anywhere up to 55 millimeters. So you can basically zoom.
It's easy.
You rubbed off on that.
Yeah.
So,
but that's actually not what you're getting.
No, you're basically multiplying that. If this was an EF, so honestly, I can't remember, and so we may be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's an EFS type lens, which the body, the cranky thing that you turn is the lens. I believe it is, you're not getting still that 18. You're getting 18 times 1.6 based on the APS-C sensor size.
Let's see if we can do something here.
So it's a crop factor is what it's called of...
what is the difference between
1.6.
Canon EF and EFS lenses? One's bigger than the other.
So the mounts, so there's the APS-C crop sensor. So here's the difference between an APS-C and a full. You see that you get a lot more data to the sensor because it's a larger sensor. It can get a lot more light, 1.6 crop factor.
Boom. Okay, so
basically
this is a cheaper camera because you have a smaller sensor, and you're actually not getting 18 to 55 millimeters.
Right. So if you're shooting wide angle or you want ultra wide, you're not going to really get it with an EFS or an APS-C sensor because anything you look at now, you have weird things you can do where you can get a focal length converter, and I can't remember the technical terminology, but There's a camera I used to own, the Blackmagic Pocket Mini Cinema Camera, something like that. The BMPCC, Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera. Yeah. Anyway, I had to get basically something that got rid of that, and I really can't. That was years ago too.
So this is $800. It's still an EFS.
Because there's nothing. So the thing about EFS, they're great for weddings. If you're farther away from a subject and you want a nice blurry background, a more zoomed in camera essentially is going to give you a blurrier background behind what you're focused on, and you can be further away from the shot or the subject of the shot. And so, like, if you're shooting weddings, maybe you want, something for your main camera, but if you're back in the audience and you're trying to get a shot.
The whole idea, from what I understand, of having a blurry background with whatever the subject is in focus, of course, is you have a shallow range of focus. So you have a lower f-stop, right?
Right.
Meaning
the blurry,
distance.
yeah. So it's called a shallower depth of field.
Right. The difference between, the distance between where the shutter thing in the lens is and the actual lens itself is actually shorter, hence the lower f-stop.
It's more.
But there's more light.
It's how open is the aperture.
So if the aperture is open a lot, you're having a shallow depth of field.
Exactly.
But you're saying with this,
yeah.
you can be actually further away and still gain that.
Right, because part of
because it's focusing.
Exactly. Yeah.
But that's a side product. That's a side effect of the fact that they have a small sensor.
Right.
If you had a full size sensor to get the same thing, you'd have to be right up on them. Right?
Yeah, you would have to be closer with a full size sensor. If everything was the same.
Could you not just zoom in?
You could zoom
your
in,
f-stop.
but your f-stop. I mean, if you had an 18 to 55 on a full frame sensor, which like you have an 18 to 55 on a crop sensor,
because that's just the zoom.
You're ending up with. We'll make the numbers up because I really don't feel like doing.
Oh
1.6.
wait.
Your zooms are off further.
Oh yeah.
So like you're further out each time.
So question: if I have an 18 to 55, that's a pretty standard lens.
Yeah.
That is regarding that. That's talking about my f-stop.
No.
No.
The 1.35 to 5.6, that is your f-stop. Your focal length is the difference. So
focal length.
Yep.
That's the f-stop. So the millimeter of the lens, that's your zoom. But how does that relate to your f-stop?
Well, they kind of work together.
Because if I zoom in and I've got my f-stop really low, so I have my f-stop is low, so I have a shallow depth of field.
Right.
And now I zoom in. How is that affecting?
You're sort of changing what you're focused on. It's
God damn, that's so mechanical.
It's
very,
very mechanical. Yeah, if you look into
it's way more complicated than just a bunch of numbers.
Yeah, there's the maths involved that are a little trickier after three glasses of what I just had. Which is really good, actually.
It was really good.
I enjoyed it.
It was not as good as your four
Which is funny, the Four Roses single barrel.
Single barrel.
Yeah, I prefer that for sure.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I just can't remember because I haven't done this in 8 years. You'd think I would remember.
Megan's on. Hi, Megan. I know, I shaved my head. Megan, where have you been? So we started, this is our part 2. Part 2.
Right.
Supply and demand wants a camera for the real estate. Dude, wait for the after Christmas sales.
Wait for sales.
They the best for tech stuff. Do you agree?
Yeah, sales are best.
Yeah, boom.
Yeah.
So Ryan, I don't know if you know, Ryan is, because we said it in part 1, is the best. When it comes to sales. It's intense. So that's what we're talking about.
I have been very, very good at finding deals in the past.
So Megan is one of my friends who is in LA.
Oh, nice.
Who I was talking about.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So this was a camera that I was looking at, but you're saying essentially it's not got a big old sensor.
I wouldn't use it as a webcam. I mean,
I don't want to. So yeah. Okay. These are the things I need.
I mean, I don't have a problem with crop. I mean, the thing is, I don't have a problem with crop frame sensors. If you're not shooting at night, if you're lighting your scenes, you have lighting here. If you're lighting your shots, The other ones, a full frame sensor will give you that really like nice soft blurred background. But if you're lighting your scenes well, you can make it work. I mean, it's less easy for you.
Here's the thing: if I'm throwing down 800 bones,
Mm-hmm.
that's a pretty good chunk of change. It's not
Well,
expensive, but that's good. You know, a Black Magic, like Hoss ass movie camera is $1,200.
sure.
So
Unless you get a used one.
unless you get a used one,
Get a used one.
my point is $800 that's all right. So
Yeah.
you know, I don't want like some like cropped ass bullshit, fucking bullshit.
Black
sensor.
Magic's cinema camera is cropped even higher at a 1.7 something crop factor.
Really?
Yeah. It was, I think they were basing off of a Super 16 size sensor. Like the Super 16.
Ignorance is bliss, my
Yeah,
ladies.
I forget, it's called a Metabones. Look this up.
You
Cause
say Metabone?
Metabones. Metabones. I used a Metabones. I can't for the life of me remember what they call it. It's an adapter, but it's a specific type of adapter.
An adapter?
Speed booster. Yeah, there was Metabones Speed Booster. So what that did was it kicked up the speed.
You mean, wait, what does that even mean?
Yeah, you'll see it.
Speed? I thought that was audio.
I mean, I'm not on speed. So just click on this. So essentially,
Where? There's many things to click.
grab one of them. I don't care. They're all speed boosters. They'll tell you what they do. So if you look at, scroll down a little bit. So they increase the maximum aperture by 1 stop, make the lens 0.71 times wider. So they basically,
It's just a magnifying glass.
It's a magnifying glass to make it act as if it was a full frame. Not quite the same because you still don't have the same, you don't benefit from the size.
I don't understand. Why would you not just get a goddamn camera that had a full size
Still
lens?
cheaper in some cases. So if you're looking at like Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera, when it came out, it was $1,200, and you could get it on sale for $9.95 every so often. I think there was
God,
one summer.
I hate it all.
It's terrible.
I hate it all.
But closest thing you could get to that at that point, and I think this was 2012, 2013, was you could get a red, which at that time was. They've come way down, but I think a red in 2012. I think the red, was it Red Rocket, Red Scarlet? Maybe the Scarlet.
Wow.
It was 10 or 15 grand
Okay.
versus
okay,
1,000. So you saved a ton of money.
This is so much technical babble.
Right.
And I know a bunch, and I
Right.
look like a dupe.
Yeah.
All right? I just made that word up too.
No. You can
So-
look it up.
So here's my point. Don't you go off of that ADHD bullshit. The point is this.
It's not
What I
real.
want to do
Yeah.
is be able to shoot short films, potentially feature length. Actually, short films and feature length, doesn't matter. Those kinds of scenes are like 10 to 20 minutes max.
Yeah, you're fine. Honestly, any camera, I am less. I used to be more like the gear makes a huge difference. If you have good gear, bad gear, whatever, I don't think it's as much about the gear. Like, sure, your black levels may not be as nice. They may have more grain, like noise in them from the sensor struggling. But does it matter that much? I don't know. I don't think so. I tend to care less about how pristine the image is these days,
More about
as
the shot
opposed
and
to
the
like,
acting.
hey, was it a good shot?
And the
Was it
audio.
well acted? Did it sound good? Those are what matter. So no, you could shoot on your iPhone. A lot of people do. You could pull
I
up
do.
things that are shot on iPhone now. Like, for instance, my iPhone, which I'm not
Yeah,
saying
but
to
you've
buy
got
the
a
iPhone.
badass iPhone.
Right, but iPhone now, like the new iPhone, is, as far as I'm aware, the only camera in the world that can shoot directly to Dolby Vision 4K. Because it does all that processing on the fly in the background at real time.
And I don't even know what that means.
I know, it's crazy.
Like, no, really, I don't. When
Right.
you say, oh, go to 4K, first of all, I know 4K is not actually 4K. It's just called 4K.
Could be 4K. In some cases, it could be.
It could, yeah, okay.
There are multiple 4Ks.
Yeah, okay. There's also imaginary
There's
numbers.
UHD, there's 4K. The UHD
It's all a
and 4K
bunch
are
of
different.
techno-babble.
How many
What does
pixels
it
are
mean?
there? It means
Ew,
more
what
pixels.
about 8K?
It means pixels.
Whoa, what about 8K?
No, it just means the number of pixels, essentially. They're looking at the number of pixels.
Is it
in a
actually 4,000 pixels?
In some
Yeah.
cases, it is. In some cases, it is.
In some cases, like
well,
2 or 3?
there's a difference between UHD and 4K.
What is it?
Difference in pickles.
Pickles. There's so many
Sorry, I had to
pickles.
cough. You have plentiful pickles.
There's Is it dill?
How many pickles?
Or bread and
I don't
butter?
know. Dill is often used to pickle.
Listen, dill is the way to roll.
Dill's where it's at.
It took me years of my life to know that dill was a spice and not just a pickle.
It's both.
You shut your whore mouth.
The shop food.
I too have been gifted with the shop
Yeah,
food.
you have to. I mean, I don't know.
Indeed.
Try being a poor person in Kentucky for a while. That's
Dude,
how
Megan
you
is
learn.
from Kentucky.
I
She
assumed.
knows all about it.
Yeah, you just
Actually, Megan was back here. You remember when I was doing the the LARP?
the cocaine. No.
The LARP. Well,
Right,
kind of like the
sometimes they go hand in hand, as I've heard.
cocaine, as you've heard.
I've never LARPed a day in my life, or a moment actually. I've
Really?
never LARPed. Yeah,
You've never
I've
LARPed
never
one
LARPed.
moment.
no, never LARPed.
Okay, so what I want to do is I want to shoot films.
Yes.
I want to have an upgraded webcam
Yeah.
ish type thing for live streams.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the two main things. Do I need two different cameras?
I would. Yeah, I would. Because
Okay, what should I get
it's
that will not break the bank?
I mean, as far
Am
as
I looking for
brands,
big ass
I
fucking sensors?
mean,
Like
whatever
big
you can
old
get.
sensors?
Get what you
Or-
can afford, man. Get what you can afford. I would start with your price, and I would actually go online and I would look at reviews for cameras, and maybe use forums and say, "Hey, I'm trying to do this."
Used forums cameras.
No, use forums. Use
Forums.
Yeah, go to
Wait,
web.
there's a place called
web-
Used Forums?
No, there's not. Camera sites. There are people like that use web forums.
Oh.
I'm trying to remember what they were. It's been
Yeah,
it's been years.
Imagine you don't know.
But you're basically doing web research. Look up. No, seriously. Just Google
Listen, my
Best-
web research is
best
you.
video cameras under $1,000, and then you'll pull things up.
Best used cameras under $1,000.
Well, you have to specify video cameras.
I need to know that.
Well, I mean, what's a camera? It's a camera.
Listen, it sounds obvious to someone who knows
Why are we
what's
here
up.
in your user preferences?
What?
What have you done?
Okay, this is the case
Swap.
in point. What the fuck just happened?
What is happening?
I don't understand. Rain's
got the-
falling upside down. Cats and dogs are living together.
Best
You find it for me.
video. All right, I'm about to be done.
I know you're about to be done.
Best video camera under. I mean, you have to start with a search. I said Google, but I think this is DuckDuckGo. 1K. There we go. I just can't remember. Can't remember the good forums anymore. It's been a long time since I've looked at camera forums.
I'm just saying, it's hard to do.
So, I mean, these are pretty decent. So, like, these, I don't, DP review, I seem to remember
Get that
actually did
DP
stuff.
review.
Yeah, digital photography.
Oh,
Yeah. So, point and shoot, more control, blah, blah, blah. So you can compare and contrast. I really like Sony as a whole because Sony, at least on their larger cameras, has, they're one of the few camera manufacturers. Yeah, you need to upgrade your computer first, right?
dude, I've got a MacBook Air.
But no,
Lord, but the thing is if I upgrade my computer, you're talking about $3,000.
no, you're not.
What are you fucking talking about? Like a MacBook Pro?
First of all, get a used computer.
Used MacBook Pro.
Yeah, get a used
What,
computer.
you fucking think I'm a savage?
Yes. Get a used computer.
Okay.
The end. Don't pay.
This is a used computer.
I know, I can tell, but that's what I do too. Get a used computer and get, if you want to, get an external GPU, which is a graphics
Processing unit.
as
I
you
know what that is.
I wasn't sure if our viewers
Right.
were aware.
We didn't know if you guys knew.
Get an external GPU because that is your biggest bottleneck for video editing. You make sure that you have enough RAM.
The GPU.
Yeah, your table's horrible.
Yeah, the GPU. Listen,
Table,
the table's fine. You're huge. Okay.
Sorry, my hands are large.
You've got large hands.
It's okay.
All right. So you're saying I need to upgrade my computer and not my camera?
No.
God damn it.
Yeah, you need to establish your budget. What is your budget? The end.
My listen, I'm an American. My budget is as low as it can fucking be.
$2.
It is as low. I'll sell you a camera for $2
Right.
because it's Kentucky and I need smokes. Boom, I'll buy it. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I had someone offer me a car, like a portable inflator generator, but you know that thing where you like it's an all-in-one unit. It's got like a pump built in.
I have no idea what you're talking about. What are you talking about?
No, we're talking about like the things you get offered.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
So like, oh, this will start your car and everything. Yeah, just obviously it doesn't work, but you're like, okay, fine, thank you, cool. Yeah, see,
Dude, get
Use
a used computer.
Yes.
He has used.
get a used computer. You can get refurbished if you want from Apple, which I assume you're saying with Apple. You can buy on eBay. Like it's really you have a lot of buyer protections.
Find me one.
Okay.
Do it. Use the computer that
Used computer.
I got used.
He got used by the computer. It was tragic. What do we want to go with? Back in the day, Gazelle.com used to be a good place to sell your used items.
Are you talking about Newegg?
No, Gazelle.com used to be a good place. I don't know where their prices are at anymore. I usually use eBay. Oh my God, we've drank a lot of that.
We have drank a lot of this.
That was unopened.
We tore this up.
It is good though.
Although girl got some of it too.
Oh, she did. Okay, I
Yeah.
felt better.
I'm just saying, if we're in Kentucky, we need to tear it up. You, yay or nay?
I mean, I'll have a little more. I usually like if I drink one, it's like to the top. So just give me
To
a
the
little bit.
top? Jesus.
Yeah, I know. I don't drive.
Tell me
though,
when.
so keep going. We're good.
Okay.
So
To
essentially,
the top.
I mean, that's what I would do at home. If I'm driving, there's no way.
Right. Okay, so what we're doing,
so
real
what
quick
we're
to
looking- yeah.
reiterate, what we're doing is we're upgrading.
Yeah.
We're looking to upgrade
Yeah.
what I want to do
Mm-hmm.
is shoot better films, right? So I need a video camera
Sure.
that does feature length, short films, those kinds of shots, so 10 to 20 minutes max. But I also want to upgrade my live stream, which is potentially something different.
So what's
Now-
your budget
Oh, dude, like within $1,000
for everything?
for everything. This is 2020. I ain't got a ton of money.
You don't need mobility.
I don't need mobility. What does that even mean?
You don't need a laptop.
I do not want a
Laptops
laptop.
are
No,
inherently more expensive. You don't need
I
a laptop.
don't want a desktop.
Well, then you want mobility.
I need mobility.
Okay, because
Mo-
it's just more expensive that way.
Yep.
So if you're saving money, don't go laptop. You
No,
can-
it'd be worthless. If I have a desktop, I've got to cart that bitch around
Why?
because I got to go places. Baby, I got to move.
Do things. Oh.
Yeah, I'm gonna be here for like a few months.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, move it around then. Who cares?
The guy who has to carry it around.
Get an iMac. No, not big. You
What are we
could
doing
get a-
here?
You could get a Mac Mini. So I'm just showing like examples of things. Like I'm not singling out Gazelle as the place to buy stuff. I don't
A
know.
MacBook Pro
So
for
like
2017. This is a 2017 model. What I have.
the Air is
Now,
2017.
granted,
Yeah.
yes. Now, granted, it's
So,
an Air and it
let's
doesn't
look
have the same GPU.
At your specs. The GPU doesn't matter if you have. This only has USB 3, right?
Okay.
So you have an i7.
One second. I want to make sure I'm not like doxing myself. Cool. All right.
Yeah. We may have given out your IP address at one point in this evening.
Oh, I don't care. Listen, the IP address is spoofed anyway.
No, I know. It's not real. Because I was going to run the speed
it
test.
It really is spoofed. Go on.
So we need, you're giving out your serial number, which doesn't really matter.
This is not being broadcast.
Oh, cool.
Check it out. See, because it's only showing that screen. We're not
Amazing.
screen
Oh,
sharing.
cool,
We're,
yeah.
we're
Nice.
browser sharing.
I like it.
Girl, I got what's going on. I know what's going on. Oh, bada-ba-boo.
Okay.
I've made that mistake a couple times. Okay,
2.2 gigahertz i7, 13-inch 2017. Your graphics is your memory. Oh God, 8 gigs of DDR3. That's really not that big of a deal. So it depends on what you're shooting, though, too. So another thing you can do is
Final Cut Pro will quit if I'm rendering too hard.
you don't. I don't know that you need a new computer. I don't. I think you need to edit in proxy which means it's a proxy media. I don't know if you do that yet.
I don't.
So basically, proxy media is a proxy. It's a stand-in for what you're actually editing. It's a tiny little file that looks ugly so that you can edit something more quickly.
Okay.
So you can edit proxy media.
Okay, tell them.
Yeah.
As well as
I
me.
just said that, yeah.
Sure.
Proxy media is stand-in media. It's
So when it gives you the option of, hey, do you want proxy media?
Sure.
You actually do want that.
If your system is perhaps underpowered or older or slower or whatever you want, yes, edit proxies. Because what that does, it lets you make your on-the-fly edits or your live edits and previews and your cuts with a stand-in media. So you can still see what you're doing, but it's not as taxing to the computer. You're not slowed down as much. And then when you do the final render or the final piece together, it will render your full
I
quality
must not
media
be
together.
doing that because the startup episode 3, it's about 10, 15 minutes long. And if I'm doing too much color editing, yeah, it will shut down Final Cut. Like, just drops it. Now, Final Cut's good enough to where it's backed up and it's fine. But that can be very annoying when you're doing color.
Right.
And you've restarted the program like 5 times.
That would be annoying.
Yeah, it's real annoying.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd edit with proxies. I'd grade with proxies. I'd do whatever you can with proxies and try first. Because if you can put your money as much towards the camera as possible, that's nicer. What she's saying. See? You're not editing proxies yet?
Come on.
I
Come
know.
on. Why would I know that? You have to be told this shit.
I know. You don't just know. No one's ever like, yeah, right?
Okay.
So he's editing. What
I
are you
know
shooting?
a guy. Honestly, I have several tech guys. Let me know what computer you wanted to use. External hard
He
drive.
keeps hiding this, so I can't see your chat till now.
Indeed.
And now I see all your chat at once.
So Megan, Ryan, Megan. All right. So I do have an external, but I believe the MacBook Air does USB 3, maybe 3.1, but it's still slower than the actual solid state drive that it's using. So external is always going to be, at least on this computer, slower than the actual internal hard drive.
Sure. But even with eGPU, this doesn't support it because you have to have Thunderbolt 3, I believe, capability. So, but you still, if you're editing proxies, you're fine.
Okay.
I would switch to proxy editing and do it that way. Your final renders will be slower.
Okay, so that's all post stuff, which is your forte. I'm talking about how do I increase. Really, the live stream, it's fine. Using this is cool. I think if I had a camera, a webcam that was better than this, it would be awesome sauce.
Right.
What I'm more concerned about is having a video camera so that the short films and such that I'm shooting are just better quality.
Honestly,
You drink it too fast, Ryan.
I just sip it.
You drink it too fast.
I just sip it.
You
I've got a big
don't.
mouth. Sip for me, not a sip for you. I don't know. It's one of the things.
It's a sip for me.
It's a sip for everyone. Anything is an improvement over what you have. So don't get too hung up on it. That's all I'd say.
I'm using this guy.
iPhone
6S.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You would see an improvement with a $300 camera, a $400 camera. You could improve it as much as you want.
Anything is better.
Yeah, anything's going to do better than that camera. I mean, that's not a bad camera, but the sensor is like this big.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's terrible in low light.
Oh, it's real bad. Girl got
Terrible in a lot of
she
light.
got an iPhone 12. Is that it?
Yeah, 12.
It's like orgasmically.
It's different. Stronger. It's like the LSD.
It's like
If you take the LSD versus not taking LSD.
it's like getting punched in the face versus not getting punched.
I've
in the
never
face.
taken LSD just to be.
No, it's like
transparent.
looking at a photo and being like, "Oh, I just got punched in the face," versus "I didn't." Which one do you prefer?
I don't know. It depends on what you're getting punched in the face with, I guess.
Indeed.
And on that note,
Indeed. We have about 30 seconds left because we're stopping at 11:30 again. Megan, thank you for jumping on. Ryan will be back on because we're going to talk about some serious tech shit.
I may have a haircut by then, so I don't have to wear this stupid hat.
Take off the hat. She hasn't seen it.
No, it's horrible. That's why I'm wearing the hat. It's so long.
I wish I had that hair.
She probably can't see it yet.
She can see it here in a minute. There it is.
There we go.
Boom. There the long stroke.
Right.
All right.
It stays though. It stays. That's the amazing part.
You are gonna be back on.
I will at some point.
We'll have more bourbon. We'll probably have some sweet vermouth, so we can have some Manhattans.
And then we'll raise the camera so you're not just seeing my under chin the whole time.
Well, motherfucker, if we could
because this is how I look.
I need a webcam. We're gonna talk about webcams. We're just gonna talk about gear. The next episode is gonna be gear and where to get the gear. Okay.
So isn't gear a euphemism for a drug?
Is it?
I think so.
I'm
sure
sure
like it's Australian. I don't know. We're gonna get
for
the gear.
Australian?
It seems I'm remembering it as Australian. I don't know why. It's probably not. But for some reason, gear Australia. The ADD is coming back. Yeah.
Megan, I don't know if you heard, but Ryan is going to be doing the ADR, the lip syncing for one of the characters in Double Brothers, Double Trouble, which we did. If you go back to part 1 of this live stream, then you'll see at the very end of it, you'll see a good 3 minutes of that that short film. So he'll be doing that eventually, and we're going to do a whole episode of this. Probably after the holidays.
Probably.
Okay.
Cowboy Bebop here.
Hell yeah. All right, we out. Kata. Kapla.
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 I had forgotten the only word I knew.
Now you know.
Now I know.
And knowing.
And now I'll forget.
And knowing.
Once more. I really hope.
Knowing is half the battle.
That's true. Bye.
Wait. I'm going to do this.
Okay, we'll try it again.
That's the wrong button. YouTube.
YouTube.
Look, we're live right now.
We're live now. 2 are watching. One is us, right? We are our own watcher.
No, I don't believe so.
Oh man.
G.I. Joe.
Wow. Pork chop.
Is
that pork chop sandwiches?
Oh Jesus Christ.
G.I. Joe pork chop sandwiches, you guys.
And knowing is half the battle. That's what you should have said.
Okay, that's what I meant by pork chop sandwiches.
Watch this. And this will get us banned. 14 minutes. Christ.
And there's an ad for half of it.
Now I know. And knowing is half the battle.
God.
Hold on.
What is happening?
Find something that'll reach. This branch ought to work. Remember, frozen ponds and rivers may not be totally frozen.
So we could be skating on thin ice. Now we know.
And knowing is half the battle.
Is there quicksand? Is there one that mentions quicksand? I feel like that time frame there has to be a quicksand one.
All right, that's what we got.
UK, yeah. See, she knows the drugs. Gear.
Ladies and gents.
All right. I'm out again.
Salud. Be well. Peace out.
All right, bye.
All right, bye.